Welcome to the P.A.S. Report Weekly Roundup Podcast. The P.A.S. Report provides an honest analysis on the critical issues that matter to you without the biased media filters. Here's your host, Professor Nick Giordano.
Let's welcome our guest. He's like an eagle, patriotic, bald, and attacks people with his toenails. And his Now You Know tour starts in February. Comedian Jim Norton. He knows overcoming adversity like being a guest on this show. Fox News contributor Johnny Joey Jones. He's so smart, Harvard's president refuses to plagiarize him. Campus Reform Higher Education Fellow Nick Giordano. And she might be blonde, but she won't get conned. Host of the Hoop Chat, Emily Austen. All right, Joey, what do you think? This idea that liberals are now waking up, but then to hear Bill Maher say, oh, if we can only just go back to Obama, doesn't he realize what Obama wrought? That's why we're here.
Does he realize it, or he's still a part of it, right? I don't trust any of them that are turning on Biden right now, because there are a lot of reasons to turn on Biden that have nothing to do with ideology. There are a lot of reasons to turn on Biden right now. He's just not a safe horse to bet on. He's the horse that kind of passes out and loses in turn two. I mean, I can't go back to Barack Obama. I can just hear him in my head right now saying, the war is over, we're going to leave Afghanistan. If you want your legs, you can keep your legs. and you know, none of those things were true. I don't need Obama. We're getting Obama Tac 3 right now. Everyone Joe Biden has employed worked in the Obama administration. They were not very good at it, so they got a promotion in the Biden administration.
There you go. Emily, do you see people waking up? Like I said, we have a lot of people on the left. I mentioned Barry Weiss, kicked out of the New York Times. Now she started her own operation. Do you think they're waking up or not?
I think that there's like a small minority that's getting louder, but the majority, I really hope so, majority of the left seem to actually start to value life. And anyone with the slightest bit of common sense is going to understand the trajectory that the United States is going on. We're going to be screwed if something doesn't change. If we have 4 more years of whatever is going on right now, we're all in big trouble. So I don't think enough people are waking up, but I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that by election time, we don't allow America to keep going down this road, because we are all going to screw ourselves.
Nicholas, can I call you Nick, or how do you do it?
You call me Nick.
We call you Nick. Okay. I've been noticing this Obama worship from people who I think are starting to wake up. Now they call Joe Rogan right-wing. He's not right-wing. He's been a liberal. He's just like Bill Maher, and he's always seen many sides of the issue. But even I want to put up this quote here. This was from his podcast. I notice he says he can't get enough of Obama. But as far as like a representative of the United States, who better than Obama? He's the best of all time, the most educated and eloquent and even-keeled. I mean, what is he talking about? Does he not recognize the policies? Because Biden actually thinks he is Obama 2.0.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, people look at President Biden and they'll make attacks. Oh, his policies are horrible. But it's the policies. No matter who you replace him with, those same policies stay in effect. And the idea of wokeism has destroyed higher education and our society. It's extraordinarily destructive. I mean, at Campus Reform, we talked about these equitable grading systems. What better way to achieve success than to drop all standards, have a plagiarizer become the president of Harvard University, and then say that's acceptable and justify it. So we see the failures of wokeism. People are starting to wake up, but it took protests calling for a genocide against Jews for people to say, maybe the movement's gone a little too far. It should have been when they were talking about gender ideology to kindergartners and the anti-Americanism that's been pumped in the university system. Every bad idea has filtered out through the colleges, and we're seeing it in real time.
Actually, did you hear about this, that Obama is actually behind the scenes? He's pulling for Claudine Gay from Harvard. He wants her to keep the job. He's trying to convince the board to keep her. If that is true, I don't know if it is, but why would he be doing that, do you think, that Obama, why does he want to hold on to that when she's obviously, her credibility has been severely damaged?
It has, but our entire profession has been damaged. If I fail a student for plagiarizing now, they could turn around and be like, well, the Harvard president plagiarized and nothing happened to her. Why am I failing? And this is the embarrassment to our profession as people that teach and are supposed to educate, that it's not about education anymore. It's about virtue signaling. It's about emotions, and it's about an agenda to push, and that's the thing. Former President Obama wants Claudine Gay there to push an agenda.
Jim, I never know where you're going to come from. I was mentioning guys like that. Like Rogan doesn't see party. You know, he takes on each issue. Chappelle's the same way. You're probably the same way. What would you say to the American people coming up for 2024?
I don't think Bill Maher has changed. I don't think any of these guys have changed. They're just reacting to a younger generation, which is more radical. The same as traditional conservatives don't embrace all the far-right ideology. Traditional liberals don't embrace every insane thing that woke ideology says. This is not new. I don't even think Obama started it. He definitely pushed it. But, I mean, you look back to when Clinton was president, and he said, yeah, I believe in political correctness. They started the language policing 30 years ago. And in 1988, nobody came to Dice's rescue when he got in trouble for saying dirty words. The comedians have been telling you this for over 30 years. And now that it's happening more and more, every group that's being affected is going, oh my God, how could they allow this in girls' sports? How could they allow this? But nobody cared when it was 30 years ago and guys were getting in trouble for jokes. So this started a long time ago. It hasn't changed. It has just gotten progressively worse. But I don't even fault Obama for it. I mean, this was long before him that this started.
Yeah, I guess I could say that, you know, I said most of the troubles in this country, Joey, have to do with Obama policies, but that's just in the modern world. I don't think he's a particularly more evil than any other politician. He's just been more effective. He came out of that Chicago School of Politics, and, you know, he was a community organizer. People used to make fun of that. I'll never forget when Sarah Palin made fun of him saying, oh, I have a real job. He was a community organizer. Community organizer is a real job, and it has more of an effect on this country than most people realize.
If you live where I live, a community organizer is a hell of a job. I mean, you got to go 10 miles to find somebody to organize. I've always respected that. But listen, you want to see where this is in effect in today's world? Look at Gavin Newsom. I mean, California's an absolute mess. There's nothing about him I particularly like. But if I host Fox and Friends, Rachel's going to say, oh, you know, he comes across charismatic. That's what people think.
Yeah.
They think, and who cares, you know, that he's ruined the best piece of land we've ever had, California. Doesn't matter. He's somehow charismatic. That was Barack Obama.
And that is what I think Gavin Newsom wants to do, is ride that charisma into the White House the way that Obama did it. Okay, before we go, a quick reminder, you can come see my live solo show, Spontaneous Combustion. Oh, look at that picture. I'll be in Albany, Syracuse, Stamford, Connecticut, Hartford, Boston, and Providence. Go to tomshillue.com for tickets and info. And up next, yeah, go ahead, give me a little love there. I like it. Up next, this year, dodging insults and lies, top KGP's replies.
When things go sideways, you want to be prepared. Protect you and your family. And people are concerned. They might have to go for a long time without food, electricity. That's why I want to introduce you to 4patriots.com. Get preparedness products you could use now, and that could save your life later. My favorite is 4Patriots' new solar generator, the Patriot Power Generator 2000X. It uses the endless free power of the sun to power your lights, your TV, medical equipment, even run your fridge. Plus, it's expandable and comes with a free solar panel. Or you can pick up one of 4Patriots' best-selling survival food kits. Delicious tasting and designed to last for 25 years. They even have kits with real meat. And if the power's out, no worries. Just boil water over fire, simmer, and serve. You're going to enjoy a hot meal and stay safe in a crisis. More smart people than ever are finding 4Patriots. Over 2 million customers trust them, and you might have even seen them on TV. I had the folks at 4Patriots set up a special page for you at 4patriots.com/PAS so that listeners of this podcast can see this week's discounts and deals before they go away. Go to 4patriots.com/PAS, but you gotta hurry because the deals don't last long. So save more money, get peace of mind, and protect you and your family. Go to 4patriots.com/PAS.
Did KGP have a less than stellar 2023? When Karine's at her best, facts get suppressed. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre had plenty of memorable moments from this year, from clashing with reporters to offering insight into the president's thinking, all done in her own signature style. And by signature style, I mean not answering questions while repeating the same phrases over and over.
President Biden went to his house in Wilmington. What was he doing in there?
I would refer you to the White House counsel office.
So it was something relating to this case?
I would refer you to the White House counsel's office. I would refer you to the White House counsel's office. I would refer you to the White House counsel's office. And I would refer you to the White House counsel's office. I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
That phrase will sure come in handy during impeachment. She also taught us that sometimes you should try emphasizing a different syllable, especially considering the president is doing everything he can.
The president has done everything that he can. The president is doing everything that he can. He is doing everything that he can. We will do everything that we can. I don't have a policy update on that, but I know to tell you now, as I've been saying, we are doing everything that we can possibly. We're going to continue to do everything that we can.
And everything that he can does not include eventually finding his way off a stage. But hey, when in doubt, always remember to trust the process.
This is an ongoing process under the review of the Department of Justice. We're going to respect the process, and we're just going to allow the process to continue. Let the process continue. It's an ongoing process. I am genuinely saying to you, there is an ongoing process. This is all part of the Justice Department process as part of that process. And I said because there was a process of justice throughout this process, we just laid out the process that was taken, and that is the process.
Trust the process. I think that's what they said about lobotomies. Jim, for someone whose job it is to answer questions like Karine Jean-Pierre, she's not very good at answering questions, is she?
You know, this job, and it doesn't matter to me who's president, this is the worst job. Your job is to stand in front of the entire free world and defend a pathological liar. You have to explain every stupid thing they do, every stupid thing they. I mean, you imagine was it Mike McCarthy? I forget. It was Clinton's. Like, you imagine having that gig. Yeah. You have to go up and explain to people. The phone rang. He just put the cigar down. Like, to have to explain what these guys are doing. So I think that she's irritating. Her method might be irritating, but I think that to have to defend this doddering idiot is a very, very difficult job. And anyone who's got to be the White House press secretary under Biden is going to have a very difficult time because he just kind of mopes around. So I don't envy her at all. It's a terrible job.
Yeah, who was the last one? Jen Psaki, right? Could you do this? I think you could do this job, Emily Austen.
I was about to completely disagree with you. I think this is the best job ever. This girl gets to glam up, sit in front of a camera, and repeat the same phrases over and over again. I don't know whose job I'm more jealous of. Kamala's job, who's to literally smile and wave, my favorite thing to do.
And cackle.
And cackle, which is, I'm good at that too. Or just sit in front of the entire world and just lie through your teeth. But she's not even being creative with it. She's not even trying to fool America. She's looking you in your eyes, and she does one of two things. She either just repeats the same phrase, as we saw, or my personal favorite, she flips the Uno reverse card, and she asks you to answer the question that you just asked her.
Yeah.
But my favorite lie, I'm just going to stick it in there, is when she said, are you ready for this? Biden has the best border policy that America has ever seen. So she's not only a great liar, apparently she thinks she's a good actress. But she hasn't fooled us.
Nick, go ahead. Nick. Obviously, she's not good at her job. Who do you think was better, her or Psaki?
Well, I kind of miss Jen Circleback Psaki.
Yeah,
you know, I
that's
kind of
right.
miss that whole circle back because she would always circle back, even though she never did.
Yeah.
But you didn't show any clips of Karine Jean-Pierre walking in with like the 1,000-pound binder.
Yeah.
Where if the answer isn't in the talking points in that binder, then she'll just roll her eyes and get mad and actually give the reporters an attitude. However, when she's the woke wonder of the White House, we were just talking about wokeism. That's what she is. Let's be honest. She is not competent for this position. She comes out there. She gets relatively few tough questions, except from maybe Peter Doocy, Simon Atiba, and a handful of others. And she doesn't like to answer those tough questions, which is the press secretary's role. They're supposed to spin things. I get that. But it shows. And this is a perfect example of why you don't hire people based on certain characteristics outside of competency. She is the epitome of a DEI hire.
Okay, but let's be honest. That binder we know is full of Biden's doodles throughout the day. There's nothing serious in there.
Well, that makes it even worse. She's got the binder full of answers, and yet she's repeating the same phrases over and over. Joey, do you even think that we need this kind of position anymore?
You know, I mean, when your job is when you're doing a job that you're following Kayleigh McEnany, you're not going to look great doing it. I know I work at Fox, right? Like, because she's brilliant. She's really good at what she does. When she comes out with a binder, it's full of gotcha responses, and no one likes it. I have pity on this woman, though. She is a press secretary for a president. She has a boss. That boss is the president. The president has a boss. That's the Easter Bunny, right? And so this man needs an Easter Bunny to help him get around, to tell him what's going on. And Easter Bunnies spend their time dealing with kids and hiding eggs. And so they have to talk in little short sentences and say it over and over again. And so when you're working for a guy that's getting that kind of direction, she's just repeating what she hears, man.
Maybe the Easter Bunny should be the press secretary.
Look at her face.
Work.
Look at her. She's winking at us. She's telling us, what do you want me to say? He's an idiot. I mean, she knows that she is in a helpless position. I mean, she's 2 months away from doing an adult diaper commercial. What do you want her to say about him?
If we had her phone every day, it's Googled, can a press secretary perjure themselves? Every day, every day.
Yeah, I think this thing is a bit antiquated. Now we have YouTube. I'm telling you, if Trump gets back in office, he should do away with this whole theater. And every night he should put his iPhone on the desk in the Oval Office, and he should give us an update and go straight to the people. I don't think I'm supposed to say that because I know people in the news business love that press room because it makes headlines. Anyway, up next, the panel takes shots at Trudeau, airlines, and bots.
Mock it and move on.
Yes, it is time for Mock It and Move On. First up, under a new policy from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, tampons are now available in men's bathrooms at the Canadian Parliament. The rule requires that federal workplaces offer free menstrual products in all bathrooms, regardless of the gender marked on the door. There's plenty of reasons Canadian men could use tampons, like to plug maple trees until the waffles are done, or to stuff in their ears when Alanis Morissette sings. That was 2 Canadian jokes there. All right. Look, Joey, would you, next time you visit the Canadian Parliament, would you, I don't know, could you make use of a tampon?
You know, I went to northern Maine, and I chose not to go into Canada because I didn't want any of that sticky stuff to get on me. You know, not the maple syrup, but the liberal politics. And so, listen, I love my friends from Canada. I would make a deal with him. You can put tampons in my bathroom if you'll do something that stops able-bodied people from getting into the handicap stall. Because every time I go in there, I need those arms to get back up. You should see the type of twister I have to do to stand up from a toilet with no rails on the side to help me out. And so, you know, maybe take care of like the common sense stuff first. I don't know. I mean, you know, the trans people need their tampons, I guess.
I never thought of that because occasionally, if there's no one in there, I'll go into the handicap stall because there's a lot of room in there, right? But if I ever saw... Yeah, a lot of room in there. You know why? But it's not,
because some people have a wheelchair and they need to get in there and do donuts and entertain themselves before they go pee.
Oh.
I don't know you, Tom.
Imagine if you, I mean... Okay, Emily. What do you think of this rule?
Oh, God. Okay. I'm just so glad. I always say Canada's priorities are so in line, where they're not taking care of your handicap needs, but men who are menstruating get their tampons. How lucky are they? All I know is if my tax-paying dollars were going towards funding tampons for men, I would be in jail for tax evasion, and for legal purposes, of course, that's a joke. But point being, it's just so messed up that there are so many things wrong with Canada, and this is where they're choosing to invest taxpayers' dollars. And last but not least, could we, you know, maybe backtrack a minute and realize if you're getting your period to the point that you need to actually use a tampon, not just for symbolic purposes, have one, could we just start to agree that you're a woman? Go to the women's restroom and go get a tampon there, and all of this would be solved, and you have more tax money now to spend on helping Joey.
There you go. Nick, you're a professor. Could you explain how a man might need tampons?
No, you can't make sense of the senseless.
You're canceled.
When we look at the Trudeau regime, you got the world burning, people's lives are getting more difficult, but he's got the solution, tampons in men's bathroom. However, Emily, I hate to break it to you, if you go down to the Botanical Gardens in Washington, D.C. and go into the men's bathroom, there'll be a sign saying tampons are available for men at the front desk.
So what if I go in there, because I'll identify for 2 minutes as a man, take all the tampons and give it back to my ladies?
Well, that's the insanity of it. I mean, when we look at it, Monty Python did a skit, The Life of Brian, over 40 years ago, where Brian wanted to be a woman, and it was based on satire. Today, that would be a documentary. That's how insane things have become.
Jim, will you require venues hosting your shows to provide tampons for all?
I really would, yes. I think what's important is what's in the men's room dispensary. I really do get upset. And how many strip clubs, when you walk in, they have breath mints, cologne, and condoms, like the height of optimism. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's in the dispensary. But Trudeau always does seem to do the thing that is most irritating. Like, there's just something about him. He's like the Gavin Newsom of Canada.
Yeah.
Like, whatever angle is going to make you go, oh, he just always takes that angle. So this doesn't bother me, but he's just an irritating ass.
Next up, go ahead. Next up, Spirit Airlines has apologized for inadvertently causing a scene reminiscent of Home Alone 2. Last week, the company accidentally put an unaccompanied 6-year-old child on the wrong plane. The kid was supposed to be headed to Fort Myers, but ended up in Orlando. The kid's parents didn't know that Spirit Airlines charges an extra fee if you want to be sent to the right city. Joey, is it any surprise that this Home Alone situation would happen during the holiday season?
All I know is if Trump were president, he'd have met him there when he got off and gave him directions. just like in the movie. I'm not going to beat up on Spirit too much, but I just hope they never ask me to fly the plane, because I think you need feet to do that.
Yeah. You know, but that would work. That kid, if they make the movie, they got to let the kid fly the plane, right?
First of all, I blame the kid. Check your tickets before the plane takes off. If you pack your bags, you get to the airport, and you wind up getting on the wrong plane, it's completely your fault. I don't fault the airline. He's a bad boy, and I fault him.
Oh.
You know, I never thought of that. Emily, this kid, do you think it was inadvertent? I mean, some kids, they could be precocious. He might have got on the wrong plane on purpose because he wanted to mess with everybody.
No, the kid is 6. He was probably so scared. Yes, it is. I
In Alabama, they're supporting a family at 6. I mean,
no, I mean, honestly, though, when I saw this headline, I was like, well, what do they expect? I mean, it's Spirit. Have you ever heard anything with a headline with Spirit Airlines in it that was something remotely positive? At this point, at checkout, I'm going to start reading. There has to be some waiver that you sign your life away at this point. It just can't be that they're always messing up and people are still returning to them. They're either really suicidal or they just don't value their life. I can't imagine who would still fly Spirit.
I think it's just very cheap, right? The tickets are cheap, Nick.
But they're always messing up.
Nick.
But think about what they got for their cheap airline ticket.
Yeah, your
they got an
6-year-old is
entire
borderline
adventure.
sex
The
trafficked.
6-year-old got a great adventure out of it. And he's probably going to get some Hollywood movie deal, you know, they'll make a movie out of it. So for the price of a plane ticket, it could be a pretty good deal to cash in on.
Yeah, in fact, I think they offered him $150, so. Okay, last topic. Tesla has unveiled the latest version of its Optimus robot, which is lighter, faster, and more capable than its predecessor. Apparently, it's designed to assist people in various domains, such as manufacturing, construction, healthcare, and entertainment. And it's 42% more productive than the previous version of the robot. Yeah. Good. That's the whole reason I wanted to do that story. Joey, what do you think of this? The thing is, guys like Elon Musk, he keeps warning us about AI, but he's doing a lot to accelerate our... I can see what you're doing with your legs there.
Yeah. Listen, the next thing you know, they're going to have them telling bad jokes on Gutfeld. That's what it is, right? You're trying to replace me. I get it. I see what it is. Yeah, they can carry boxes now. They're going to tell bad jokes next week, and I don't have a job anymore. This is leave robots. No person should be more than 40% robot. Nobody.
It's all fun and games till you get catfished on your date by a robot. That's going to be the new trend you're going to start to see, I promise you.
Would you be willing to have robots as part of your everyday life, Emily?
No, I think it's so scary. Like, all jokes aside for a minute, they're going to start replacing humans. AI, we've seen what it's capable of. And now we're going to have these robots that are made by genius Elon Musk. They're going to replace society, and quite frankly, I don't blame him for wanting to do that, but it is scary to us fellow humans. Or at least, yeah.
Nick, do you think the robots are going to eventually turn on us, like in a bad sci-fi movie?
Well, every sci-fi movie has shown that it never works out well for human beings when it comes to AI and robots. As a matter of fact, I was like, I get the segment, and what am I going to talk about here? And then all of a sudden, an hour later, a headline spits out, a Tesla robot attacks an engineer at company's Texas factory during violent malfunction, leaving trail of blood. I'm like, oh, wow. So... yes, I do believe it'll end very horribly for human beings.
Yeah, you know, but Jim, I bet that employee taunted the robot.
I'm sure he did. And robots.
Use the wrong pronoun.
They walk weird. They have the. That's why people are creepy.
So?
Because they have. But I think the thing with robots is the idea of a sexual robot is why. Because why do they have to look human? Like, I don't understand why they're making them look human.
I think we know exactly why.
What I just said, the idea. I'm looking very much forward to a sex robot. They're getting there more and more and more. Save myself the bundle on socks.
Coming up, at what age do you start to wonder how long until you're 6 feet under?
Thank you for listening to the P.A.S. Report Weekly Roundup Podcast.
Have a good one. Bye.
Be sure to rate, share, and subscribe to the podcast so you'll never miss an episode. Also, visit PASreport.com and follow us on Twitter at PAS Report.